Unscripted, unshackled, uncouth.
What you're about to hear is for more mature audiences only.
It's Miguel and Holly, Uncensored.
Hello and welcome to Miguel and Holly Uncensored. It's our off-air podcast that we do 3 times a week on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We do it live on the Miguel and Holly YouTube channel. So if you want to check that out, you can always set it up around 10:30 on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And then it goes up for all of your auditory pleasure on the iHeartRadio app, anywhere you listen to podcasts around noon. And make sure to check out the Facebook page we have for the Miguel and Holly fam and the Platypus Posse on Facebook. Join that.
Right.
Say hello. Before we get into anything, Kelvin.
Yes, Miguel?
I'm assuming people were not okay with us posting that extra podcast about the roast.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I already knew they were going to say no, but I did offer them something else. I said, hey, how about I bleep the names? Would you guys be okay with that?
Mm-hmm.
And actually, fiance Oscar was not about it. He was like, people are still going to know who it is. And I was like, but you're right. He was right.
Yeah.
He's right.
Yeah. I had a feeling.
It was a lot.
It was. But I had it like Sunday around noon, 12:30. I was getting ready to go to brunch and I was like, and I was like, no, Kelvin will remember that one. So I'm assuming that was a no-go on posting that podcast. Yeah. But because of it though, I did have a great idea that I wanted to run past you all. Well, since we're here, I was going to talk to y'all off the air, but we're here.
Oh, planning session.
I know, right?
Meeting.
Planning session.
Live meeting.
Right.
Wish we had a gavel or like a cowbell.
You know, I do have a gavel.
I know you do.
Don't get
I know you do.
It's in my bag right over there.
Okay.
But yeah, so I was thinking that the three of us rotate for every Sunday. We do a different podcast. Like I want to do one where I get to interview people, but it'd be really quick. It's like, tell me the big story from your life that changed your life or something. And then Holly, if you wanted to, like every other Sunday, you interview a mental health specialist or you talk about a mental health thing. Or Kelvin, if you wanted to do something with pop culture, with RuPaul's Drag Race. Well, there's always a RuPaul's Drag Race, I feel like.
Yeah, I would love to interview a queen.
Yeah, but because then it takes the pressure off of us having to do one every week. And so it rotates between the three of us. And then we just put it up for that Sunday. So I feel like that also will help us because we all three of us have wanted to start podcasts and we've been talking about it for years and years and years and then we haven't. So I feel like this would be a good sort of dip our toe in to start that process.
Okay.
Are y'all down?
Yeah, and God bless Jenny Utroska, who is like,
the silent producer.
The silent producer. She'd been listening forever. She messaged me and she was like, she sent me a voice memo. She was so concerned.
She'd be sending those all the time.
She was like, now hold on. I know you are too busy to be spending your weekend doing this. I will boycott if you want me to. God bless her. God bless her. I was like, thank you for that stand of solidarity.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way we would actually do it on Sunday. Is that correct?
No. Oh, no. This is like
absolutely not.
No, like if you know
That's
that
what I
yours is
said,
coming
too. I
up
was
in
like-
2 weeks, then
I
you
was
can
like-
do it and have it ready to go.
That's like, I would mutiny if Miguel was like, just let's come out in a Sunday.
Oh no. So here's the caveat though. This is not, we wouldn't have a video component like this. This would just be off you're like, because usually, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, those are our sort of quiet times where we're all working on different stuff after the show because we don't do the podcast.
Quiet time. I like that.
Right. It's a quiet time. So that would be the time if Holly's, you're like, hey, I got someone coming in. I'm going to interview them. So, you disconnect from us and you do your thing. And then that could be for when your podcast drops on that Sunday 2 weeks from now.
Right.
So it's like whenever, if you want to bang out a bunch one day, you can do that and have them done. So it's all about your convenience. But I think I just want us to get into that habit of, doing that sort of thing for each of us.
Wait, would we be on it or this is just us?
No, it was just you.
Got it. So your thing is just your thing. Unlike what we did with Kelvin the other day. So this is just
right.
Interview based.
Rotating. And it's interviews.
Whatever you want it to be. It is
Okay.
a blank canvas of 5 to 10 minutes of whatever you want it to be. If it's because I was thinking about it this weekend and I'm like, I would like to interview because my longer form podcast that I want to do would be like the 5 moments that changed your life, because you all have those stories of those pivotal moments. And I want
Yeah.
to do a podcast where people talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
But to dip my toe, I'd be like, what was that one big thing in your life? Like for me, my big moment is when I moved back from Denver to back to Atlanta.
Yeah.
That changed the course of my life because my life would have been gone a completely different direction if
Right.
that moment wouldn't have happened.
Right.
Correct.
So mine would be interview style, but then I was thinking I still want to talk about politics. So I think I would do like hey, let me interview someone. And then I'd be like, here's Miguel's thoughts, for, what's been happening in politics or pop culture over the past 2 weeks that I would just do on my own, sort of like a monologue that, talk radio hosts do.
In the same week? Or you're talking about
No, that would just be attached to mine.
You're right. I mean, but like on your week, you would do
Yeah,
an interview
yes.
and
Mhm,
other stuff. Okay.
mhm,
Got it. Got it.
mhm. So it can be whatever you want it to be. If it's an interview, if it's, Kelvin, you and Oscar just talking about drag race or, whatever, or whoever loves drag race with you, you can do that. And then it'll just drop, every 3 weeks on Sunday.
Cool.
Are y'all all down?
We'll see how long it lasts. Yeah. I'm down.
Sure.
What?
Yes.
Wait, don't come up in here with that negative energy.
It's not negative. It's realistic, girl.
How?
Like,
What?
Tuesdays, we ain't going to do nothing because we have a meeting.
Mhm.
And Thursdays, yeah, it's possible. But also Thursdays can be a shit show sometimes. But I do think that there is time to do it. I just
Right.
don't know for how long we're going to do it. But I'm down.
Yeah.
But you do it at your own pace because it's you. So if like it's you and Oscar sitting at home on the couch and recording it, it doesn't have to be when we're in the studio. You can make it be whenever you want it to be.
Could be whenever.
Yeah, because I was thinking for mine, I would maybe like to start off with friends of mine, just literally sitting at the house, with my microphones I have and just interviewing them there, not having them like, because then it's more relaxed and I'm not stressed out about work stuff and it's like off,
Right.
the cuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
it can be whatever you want it to be.
All right.
So
Okay.
we're gonna set a date because I know us, we'll say it and then we won't do it.
Well, yes.
Yes. Well, yes.
Yeah.
Hold on. And what do y'all think about this that are watching? Do y'all like this?
Shannon loves this concept.
All right. Okay, no, that's too soon. I was like, ooh, this would be fun to launch it on our 3-year anniversary of being here in Charlotte, but that's next Friday, so no.
Oh.
You know
I
what?
mean, you could. I mean, technically, start it whenever.
Well, but then because like Kelvin will be off for his wedding here in a couple of weeks, and so let's get through that. So we'll start like Sunday, March 23rd, and I will kick off the first one.
Sunday, March 23rd.
Okay.
And I will volunteer as tribute to do the first one.
I love
Okay. So then I would be March 30th,
Mm-hmm.
which is Bipolar Disorder Awareness Day.
that. Hey.
Look at that.
It's kismet.
Kismet. I love that word. I love it. I fucking love
Kismet.
it.
Yes.
Kelvin's like, what?
Serendipity.
I didn't learn English at first, girl. What that mean?
Fucking bitch. I love it.
So yeah, I will start off the 23rd, and then we'll rotate. It'll be Holly the 30th, and then Kelvin, you'll be the 6th that Sunday, and then we'll just cycle through.
Cool.
Awesome. So now we just need to come up with a fun name for it, like Miguel and Holly Uncensored. Whatever.
Semi-uncensored.
Yeah. So we'll come up with a fun name. All right, cool. Well, there's that. We got that business worked out.
Come
All
on,
right,
meeting.
business. Hey, business. I put it in my phone.
Vanessa said, I can't get enough of listening to y'all show and podcast. So I'm totally down for this. Thank you, Vanessa.
Very
Appreciate
nice.
that.
Very nice.
We got the roast out of the way. The awkward photo from my Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So obviously I'm not going to show it because it involves other people.
I was gonna say other people. Do you ever have something? I have a photo of myself and one of my college friends dressed up as Crisscross.
Oh.
from a Halloween party.
Mhm.
And when one of them died, one of the members of Crisscross died like 10 years ago or something, I reached out to her because she's like a nuclear pharmacist now.
Oh.
And I was like, hey, can I put this picture up as like a tribute? And she's like, please don't. I was like, actually, I think I did, but maybe I blurred her face out, or I definitely didn't tag her or whatever. But yeah, she was like, please, I'm a nuclear pharmacist.
Yeah, like, please
like,
don't. I have a professional career.
Not me. I'm just some radio personality looking to be like,
hey, look at this wild and wacky craziness.
So anyway, that's why we don't do that with other people.
Well, during the show today, I told the story about how this weekend, one of my really best friends from college, Andrew, it was his birthday on Sunday. And so I was looking through Facebook from some of the old albums from back in the day, trying to find some pictures of us from college to post. Cause I wrote up this nice little thing just about how like he's been there for all these major milestones in my life and me for him, and how he means so much to me. I mean, he was my first radio producer for our college radio station. He was my producer for the night show I did and for my morning show. And then actually he's instrumental in helping us get Miguel and Holly Uncensored off the ground.
Yes.
Because until we got to iHeartRadio, our podcast, Miguel and Holly Uncensored, was housed on his server.
Right. Like we didn't know anything about anything. We're like, can you? And he's like, we didn't even know.
Right. Like, because this was 2015 when we started the podcast. And outside of uploading it to the radio station we were on's website, I was like, I don't know how to put it other places.
What do we do with this?
And he's still my producer all these years later and was like, I'll figure it out. I have a server, which I don't know why he has a server, but he has a server.
I have a I don't even know what that means, by the way.
I know. Like,
is it a physical thing that he's got in a closet? Like, is it a domain?
That's a good question.
Is it a person?
Is
it a server?
Is it a thumb drive? Like,
I mean, these are very valid questions. I
kind of feel stupid, but like, what is that? Is it a computer? Is it AI now?
A cloud?
I mean, what is it? A cloud?
Well, our podcast was housed there. So anyway, I was going through these old albums and I found a Facebook album where we celebrated his 20th birthday back in, does it give me a date? 2007.
Oh, good.
Long time ago. So as I'm like looking through these pictures, and I'm like, we started at IHOP where we're all like, drinking, doing the college kid thing. Here, I'll show this one picture. That's not too bad because we're like at IHOP, so it's nothing crazy. See, look, like we're just college kids. Like, look at me with my little digital camera.
Oh, yes.
Our friend Alex is on his little Motorola Razr phone texting somebody.
I loved my Razr, by the way. I had a Razr.
That was the cool phone, and it was $199 with a 2-year contract.
Yes.
I loved it. Flipped, and you could flip it back closed when you were done. Oh, it was just great.
Well, then, as the pictures go on, we leave IHOP, and then we go back to someone's apartment. I don't know whose it was. And this is where things took a turn. There is a picture of someone at the birthday party. I'm not even going to say who.
I saw the preview.
No, I took it off just so no one would accidentally click it and bring it up.
I can't. I don't have the backstage access like y'all do. So nothing's happening on my end.
Yeah, nope, took it off. They're standing there with their pants unzipped, and they have a large black apparatus where the zipper would go when a man would unzip his pants.
Mm-hmm.
It's attached to it, and it's just big.
It's just hanging
hanging out. And then there's somebody right next to him, like with a thumbs up.
Because that's what you did.
No,
right.
It's the photo after.
And then in the comment, that person who's with the thumbs up next to the big thing coming out, it's like, oh my God, that's amazing.
Jesus.
Like, I don't even know what this person is doing in their life now. Like,
not that. Well, we don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I'll have to click on his profile here and find out.
No.
Then the next picture is a girl
leaning down towards it. leaning down
she ain't
towards
just
it.
leaning down.
No, well.
She's not just leaning down.
Well, you can imagine.
And I took this photo and put it on Facebook in 2007.
And the photo is so close up, by the way.
It's close
Like,
up.
there were 3 people. It was the person with the thing in the pants.
Yeah.
It was the girl, and
Yeah.
it was Miguel's camera right there. Like he was a director of an adult video.
And then there's another photo of like a girl on like a little beanbag chair holding a drink. And then the person with the member attached is just like right next to her. And she's like, oh my gosh.
She knew.
She knew
that she shouldn't have the photo.
that photo was.
But like,
not meant
that's
to.
the crazy thing about that time.
And you just put it on Facebook.
Right. Because it's like, it was just your friends. Because in
Yes.
2007, Facebook was just for college kids. And
Yeah.
at that time, I don't even think you could add someone from a different college. Like you had to, it was just like my Georgia Southern friends.
I didn't even have a Facebook then.
Yeah.
Because I was out of college by then, and Ohio Northern immediately took away your .edu address. It's not like you got to keep it.
Right.
They were like, zoink, bye, go get yourself a grown-up email address. And so I could
mean.
not join Facebook. And so
Mm.
I had a vendetta against Facebook for a while. I was like, I don't even want you anyway.
I know. Well, I remember because I was at a 2-year school before I got to Georgia Southern, and they didn't even allow 2-year school people to be on Facebook. So like, I remember I graduated from my 2-year school in June of 2005. And I think it was it was July. I drove down to Statesboro for registration at Georgia Southern. I raced back to Atlanta because they gave you your .edu email address. And the first thing I did after driving 4 hours from Statesboro is I popped in my room, got logged on, dial up,
Yep.
Facebook.com, and then signed up for Facebook. And I was like, I have arrived. I have my .edu. I'm on Facebook.
I'm here.
I'm in it. I'm in it.
Oh my gosh. And so you just posted stuff like that. Like, this is us. Probably somebody else has it. It's a picture of me with my hands
I don't
Over
like the
your mouth.
awkward game.
covering my mouth. Yes. I think that was a game where it'd be like this is when things would get squirrely, and we'd be like, all right, you're going to do something to someone else, and then you have to scream awkward.
What
I don't know. It's just
kind of a game is that?
a bunch of gay college kids
Okay.
who
Okay.
want an excuse to like,
Yeah,
yeah. So,
got it.
oh my God.
Take it off.
For those of you who
Ooh.
can't see,
Are we not posting this?
Miguel
Should I
just
delete it?
had the one picture up that was fine, and then when he closed out of it, you could see the album with all the pictures, and it was up for like what seemed like way too long.
Oh.
Way too long.
Oh,
Ooh.
Jesus.
Oh wow. So anyway,
yeah.
check your Facebooks. So I have gone through and I have hid, or where you can make only yourself as the viewer.
Right.
And so I texted a couple of people from college yesterday. I was like, hey, if you ever want some photos from our days of house parties back at Georgia Southern, let me know and I can send you the photos. But
Got 'em.
you can they're no longer available.
Yeah, that's best. I really am so glad. I feel very blessed to live in this time. Even I was telling Miguel this, like I'm only 3.5 years older than Miguel.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel so blessed that social media simply did not exist in that way
Mm.
when I was in college or
Right.
high school or college. Literally, it all started right after I graduated. So like I'm still a millennial, but like I truly had like the analog childhood and then the digital coming of age. Now, that's not to say we didn't have like AOL Instant Messenger, because
Right.
we did, and that was a thing, and you could like, chit chat with people. That was our main method of communication on campus was AIM.
Mhm.
But I'm just like, I can't imagine what it would be like, because I have photos of these times that
Mm.
are printed out in a photo album, like a literal, physical, tangible photo album. I have several of them from college, And I mean, that's the only evidence that anything went sideways. Like, obviously shit went sideways a lot, but we just don't have proof of it. And it was so much more. You could, I mean, get away with so much more because you weren't worried about somebody like, trying to make you look bad online. That didn't exist.
Well,
that's cyberbullying.
Yeah. Well, even like I just saw a reel the other day of an older millennial saying that's why clubs in the mid 2000s were so much more fun.
Yes.
Because like you weren't on your phone and then you weren't recording everything.
Not like that.
So like I would have my digital camera. Like that was a risk.
Right.
Because I would take my digital camera out on drunk nights and have it. I remember I used to have it wrapped around my
arm. You had to have it on your wrist.
Mm-hmm. And so
I didn't chance it half the time because I'm like, I know I'm gonna lose this shit. I know it.
I somehow never lost it, thank God. But like I have some albums, especially when I moved to Savannah after graduation from Georgia Southern, where we're in the club and like I would be that person who would be like snap, and then the flash would go off, and everyone would be like, "Oh God damn, what?"
Everyone looked terrible. Like,
right. And then like everyone, like nobody looks good because you couldn't. And then like you didn't know. And so there's one picture I have of a Savannah night out where like one of my friends is like basically molesting a Coke machine that was like on the dance floor for some reason. But we were like dancing on it and around it. And I'm like,
it was silly. It was silly fun. It was like silly ridiculousness. And like you didn't have evidence of all the stupid shit that you did. And maybe that has changed the culture of what it is like to go to club nights and stuff. Because that was all you had was a digital camera. Yes. And I do have some, like I will find every now and then like a random photo because someone had a digital camera and somehow that photo got uploaded through the histories of how we've done it. But like, I don't even know where to find those. I had a digital camera with me the New Year's Eve when it was turning 05. And two friends and I were out in Cleveland and we met up with these three guys that were also out in Cleveland. And somehow it worked out that like each one of us got together with each one of them. And I have digital photos that were printed out of each of us making out with these boys.
Oh yeah.
Like what the fuck was I doing with that? Like that needed to be documented.
Yeah,
and then
yes, it did.
And then printed. And so it was just, I have them. And what happened is I put them in a photo album, but I put like a photo of each of us like with them. And then I tucked the ones of us making out with all these boys behind it.
You're like, no one will
so
see.
No one might notice except I'll know they're there. Because it's embarrassing. Ew. It's like, I'm like, oh God, like, what am I doing?
Well, that's like one of the albums I hid was when my senior year spring break, we went to Daytona Beach. And that was like the one like fun spring break I did. And there's a picture that I took because we were on the way from Statesboro to Daytona, 2000 spring break 07. And my friends had a piece of paper and in black Sharpie wrote the message, show me your male member.
Oh.
I don't want to say it on here. And I have a picture of the three of my friends holding it up, and they're all like, one has like a little like sailor's cap on, and they're like licking their lips. And I'm like, one of them is like this high-end real estate agent in Salt Lake.
This is what I'm saying.
I'm like, and I've just had these pictures up here this whole time.
That whole time online, like one of the pictures of me with all of those girls making out with these boys, one of them was not anymore, she's not, but she was a principal of a school. A principal of a Catholic school, by the way. And she's out here with some guy. Thank God that's nowhere. It's so weird, the time difference.
But look at y'all now.
Look at us.
Your
now.
photo memories are now up in a stupid cloud that you don't even know who has access to, that can easily just release anything.
Let it all hang out.
That's just me.
Now, Kelvin, what years were you in college?
2011 through 2015.
Oh my gosh. So social media was fully a thing.
Yes.
Y'all were on Facebook, Instagram was out. Like,
Yeah, I remember the rumblings of like every social media. I remember being in 6th grade, going to the library, and I remember people just whispering about MySpace. And I was like, ooh, what is this thing?
Oh my god.
And my parents were really late to the whole like dial-up going to the other, like the faster version after dial-up. So like I still had AOL, which is really fucking annoying for a while. But eventually when we upgraded, yeah, it was MySpace from middle school to at least maybe 10th grade or 11th grade. And then 11th grade, everybody made the jump. So around 2010, everybody made the jump from MySpace to Facebook.
Well, that's probably because that was around the time when people were starting to migrate because they
opened
had
it
then
up.
publicly gotten rid of the .edu thing. And Mark Zuckerberg realized he could make a shit ton of money or whatever.
Yeah. And then I remember being in college, and I remember the day that Instagram allowed more than just iPhone users to use Instagram. And that was around 2012, if I'm not mistaken. So then I had that.
I first got onto Instagram around that time, 2012, I think. But it's really when everybody did.
It was around 2011 for us.
Yes.
Because I remember we had just moved to Tampa the first time, and our music director, Melanie, was like, why aren't y'all on Instagram? And I was like, I'm sorry.
and my ex-husband, Chris, he had a niece who was in high school at the time. And we went to some family gathering, and I was like, do you know about this Instagram thing? And she was like, oh my God, yes. And so she showed me hers. And I was like, can I add you as a friend if I download it? And I did. And she showed me about how to do the filters with was it like the Nashville filter that you had the square
Thursdays?
Yeah.
Yes.
That was like 2011, I think. Yeah.
Food porn.
Yes. Oh my gosh. That was so insane. And then it was like, because I remember thinking, like, what do I take pictures of?
Some of the stuff on early Instagram is so wild.
Cringe.
Yes. I mean, I think my first photo, either my first or second photo, if I remember correctly, is me like at the doctor, and I just took a picture of like the what is it called where they listen to your heart?
The stethoscope?
Yeah, like literally it was just, and I was like, I don't know what to put. So I just took a picture of that, put a filter on it, and I was like, at the doctor.
I think mine is worse. I think mine, I was in college, and like I think a girl's pad had fallen out of her book bag.
No.
Took a photo.
Oh no, you bully!
All you could see was her feet. All you could see was her feet. It wasn't like the girl right then and there. It was her feet, and it was under her desk.
Yeah.
And I think it was something stupid. Like, yes, 100%. Something so
oh my God. I actually have 2 Instagram accounts because I lost the password for Radio Holly, like after a while. And then we were out of work anyway. So it didn't matter. So I just made a different Radio Holly with some numbers. And that was mine for like my entire pregnancy. And then when you guys brought me back to Panama City, I was like, I probably should get this whole Radio Holly thing under control. So I figured out how to like reset the password and everything. So then I have that other one that just lives in infamy, and it's so bad. No, I think I took it down. It's up, but I can't go through the whole thing of taking it all down. So I made it private because some of it is like, I took a picture of me with no makeup, with my hair all crazy, and my face is fully broken out. And I'm like, pregnancy and unemployed. This is what it looks like. And my mom somehow came to see that picture, and she's like, Holly, you shouldn't put those things online. It's not flattering. And I was like,
damn.
Which of course made me feel even worse. So it was like, it's stuff like that.
Oh no.
It's really bad. That. Even with the filter, you can still see all my zits. Oh God. Okay. Anyway.
My gosh. The early social media days. Just
we were just figuring it out.
But you know what? Take me back. Like, take me back to that.
Serious.
It was not. And you know, that's what, because I made a little story while I was sick on Friday or Thursday or whatever the day was, because I was like, I just wanted to bitch about being sick. But I was like, I do apologize. And a lot of people came at me and be like, don't apologize. I was like, okay.
Like,
all right. Sorry for saying I'm sorry. Where I'm like, I don't post that much anymore because, you know, everything has to be so curated now. It feels exhausting just to share.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, social media is not really for sharing anymore. It's for, and even the people that are in charge of it, like that Masari guy or whatever,
Mhm.
who's in charge of Instagram per Meta, is telling everyday people, well, here's how you do this algorithm and here's how you get more views and likes. And I'm like, not every human being is trying to maximize growth
Right.
and become a content creator / influencer. Like, it feels like you have to do that before, like, you gotta go in with a plan before you make a post.
Right.
And it's exhausting to me. And that's even part of our job. Like, I fully understand that is part of the job, but it's not a fun part because you got to think about all of these algorithmic things. And like, I've lost track because it changes so much from day to day or week to week, what it is you should do, what you shouldn't do. And I'm like, I don't want to.
It's a lot. I mean, just because I'm really now just sort of shifting my Instagram from what it has always been for me. It's just, here are memories, here are highlights, here are things that in 5 years, I want to go back and remember the time that Abe and I had our Valentine's Day dinner at North Italia in South End. You know, like,
Right.
it's not that, because people don't engage with that anymore. Like, even the, like, remember we all shifted to just doing dumps. Like, here's my January dump.
Right.
Here's my, even those don't really get a lot of traction. But then I get mad at myself for caring that it doesn't get traction, because I'm like, oh, well, nobody cares about my February dump.
Nobody cares.
It only got, you know, X amount of likes.
Right.
When I'm like,
20.
it wasn't even about that. It was just like, I miss the days
for
when I
me.
literally could care less
Mhm.
who liked it, who commented. I just wanted to, oh, here's what I did this weekend. And then that was it. And now I'm like, we were at this new, you've heard us talk about it on this regular show, this new pickleball bar court place here in Charlotte. And we went this weekend. And as soon as I walked up, I was like, oh, I should probably get like a cool angle of me like walking towards the logo. And then maybe I should. And I'm like, I'm just here to enjoy myself.
You went there to
That's not work.
live.
Right. I went there with 2 friends just to like have a drink, check it out, and have a quick bite to eat. That was it. But I'm already like, ooh, well, what would be great? What would do? And it's like, man, I just miss the days of like, oh, here's a funny picture of us. Like, I spilled my wine. Haha, this is funny. Nope.
I know. I used to be so active on social. Back like in Miami when I was doing my own show, I would post all my opinions. I would talk on camera a lot more. I would go in, and there are certain times when, especially politics now, but where I write my opinion. But there have been so many times now where I'm writing it out, I'm looking at it, and I'm like, what am I going to post this for? Like, I understand being an advocate, fight for what you believe in, but even then, sometimes I'm like, why am I going to write this?
Am
feel
I
like
just
somebody
yelling into the void?
Correct. Am I yelling? And I feel like I exhaust my social media followers sometimes. Like, they're going to see it and be like, oh, fuck, he's complaining about not having his gay rights. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to do that to people.
All right, gays, we get it.
We get it. You love Drag Race.
I
Well, a little
know.
bit, yes. So I don't know. I feel that exhaustion as well, but I have let go of the, oh my God, this needs to be perfect. Now, granted, of course, if I post something and it flops, like, I do feel a type of way, but then I move on. I also take off a lot of times my like count on my thing. Because I'm like, bleep you, you'll never know that I'm flopping on that.
Right.
But you will know when I do well. So
Because they will see that
Get
number.
those
They will
numbers.
see that
Well,
number.
if we don't see
Ooh.
numbers, we'll just know.
Right. Look at that. Look at that
Correct.
engagement photos, girl. She got over 2,000 likes. But like,
I know, girl.
why do we even care? Like, and I saw a great video of they showed like 20 people in a room, and they're like, when you get 20
Yes.
likes, these are
All these
20
people.
individual people. When you get 100 likes, that's 100 people filled in your living room saying good job. You know,
I
like,
know.
why
You're
are
like,
we
"It's not-
so
it's not
pressed?
enough."
Right.
We're
What?
so pressed about it. And I'm like, so that's why I've been trying to just, like, my goal every day is when I go home is I try to do just like one silly like trend on TikTok. And then if it's something that I'm like, oh, this would be fun, I can transfer it over to Instagram, I will. But on my TikTok, you'll find there's a lot of stuff that I don't post on my Instagram because I'm just like doing stupid stuff just to like get into the habit of doing it and thinking about it and whatnot.
I do feel like TikTok's not that serious, which I kind of like.
Right.
Right. Well, that's why I always liked TikTok better. It's both serious in some ways, and in a different serious way than Meta, because you know what Meta is showing you what they want to show you.
Right.
And TikTok can be different, but it is also so unserious, and it's just that's what makes it more fun. I think.
100%.
TikTok is that way, but I don't do too much. What I've been doing is putting my Can't Let It Go on my own TikTok just to have some stuff. Not to mention that's where I film it. So
Right. Be like, let's go ahead and just post it right there.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Y'all got anything else you want
No.
Nope.
Nah.
Nope.
Oh, really quick, what did you think of 0 Day?
Oh, yes, that's right. I didn't want to talk about that. Kelvin, have you watched it?
I have not.
Do you plan on watching it?
Maybe. What is it about?
Okay, this is about Robert De Niro is a former president.
I'm out.
Angela Bassett, though.
Oh, wait.
Okay, I might say, hold on. Angela Bassett is the president, and there is this big cyber attack that takes off or turns off all technology basically for like 1 minute. And so Angela Bassett, as the current president, contacts Robert De Niro, the past president, to say, hey, can you lead this commission to find out what happened? That's the premise of the show.
Okay.
And it's called 0 Day because the day this happened is called 0 Day.
Yeah.
Now, we won't give any spoilers if you're going to watch it.
Right, no spoilers. Because there's a lot of twists and turns that we can't even get into.
No, because you have to sort of understand how the story connects. Because there were a couple times in the last 2 episodes, I had to pause and be like, wait. I
was impaired watching half this. So some of
that went over your head, girl.
The twist, I was just like, I think that was significant, but we're just gonna keep going. I'm sure I'll figure it out. I was just a little disappointed in the whole thing.
It doesn't
totally honest
have
with you.
that many good reviews.
I didn't love it. I didn't love it because I found the entire premise to be a bit ridiculous. I understand they had to make a show.
Right.
And they got these amazing names on it.
Yeah.
But like, in what world is the sitting president gonna bring in this other president to like make all these rules and go rogue and do all this stuff? And the current president's like, I don't know what we're doing, so you better get it together. I was like, I feel like Angela Bassett would have her shit together more than that.
But see, here's where I took a sort of different route than you with that. I thought it's actually a little closer to truth. Because, girl, what is Elon Musk doing?
Yeah, but
and he's not even a former president.
No, correct. But I also feel like it was just so it was a little far-fetched for me. But then also some of the stuff like that Robert De Niro was doing himself, I was like, no, he's not doing all this. But it definitely kept my attention, and it held through the whole thing. It was interesting the way that some of what was really going on unfolded.
Right.
I did like that. But overall, I went away being like, I don't know. It wasn't my favorite thing. I think I was disappointed that it wasn't, it was less about the cyber attack itself and the fallout than it was about the politics behind it.
Right.
And so I'm not really that big into politics stuff.
Well, and I guess for me, that's why I enjoyed it, because I like the political side. And about how, because to me, like when you think about politicians, they are performers, like they have to give a good speech to really get their message across. And if they flub it, no one's talking about what they actually said. It's about how they did it.
Right.
And then the backroom deals and how
there's always someone somewhere doing something.
Right. And they have these conversations without having the conversation where they're like, I want you to do something, but I'm not going to tell you that I want you to do it, but we're just going to talk around it. And then we're both eventually going to get there. And then you're going to know what I'm saying. Like, I just find that so fascinating about how people and how humans wield power. And then also, without giving away any spoilers, this goes for any sort of good versus evil type of plot, is the bad guy always thinks that they're doing something good.
Right.
And so that's where this comes towards the end, is you're like, they were well-intentioned by doing this thing, but then obviously they're the bad guys because you
can't do this thing.
Right. So I find those type of stories super interesting, and I thought they could have used Angela Bassett a little bit more.
Agreed. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I just feel like they sort of wasted her in that role, even though it was cool that
Right.
she was the president.
Right.
That's what I just felt like I don't know. It just didn't. I didn't love it fully, and I was more interested in like all the other stuff. But
Right. The dystopian, like
Yes.
here's what happens when societies fall apart.
Yeah.
Because one of the
about
things that happens in it is the cyber attack happens, and then something else happens with the bank. And so they end up closing the markets. They closed banking institutions. So you can't get any money. You can't
Right.
use your credit card or
And that's
debit
the other thing.
card.
I was like, you simply couldn't because
Girl, we've been saying a lot of simply couldn't, but
I know. But there would have been so many more riots, I feel like. I
Right,
don't know.
right.
It was just a lot. But anyway, it was very interesting. And I would recommend it, especially to people who like political things, because in that front, absolutely. And it's on Netflix.
yes, yeah, you can 0 Day on Netflix. But of course, Angela Bassett is amazing. Robert De Niro is really good. There are parts. Part of the storyline is Robert De Niro as the former president has some cognitive issues that happen, and they make it known, like I think in the first or second episode. And at first I was like, this is stupid. Like you're taking away from what this is about. And then it actually is a part of the story. So just you have to get through that part, because that part frustrated me and I almost stopped because I was
actually
like,
was interested in that part because I was like, oh, so we also got to deal with this too.
right. But
So
then I was like,
interested, but then I was like, what? And then I lost that plot somewhere in there. But like, I was like, where is that plot at?
that's
What are
because
you
she
doing
was,
with
you
this?
know, she was having a little hanky.
I was having a little Sunday fun day. So.
Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, 0 Day on Netflix. Kelvin, how can people find you on social media?
At Kelvin Live, TikTok, Twitter, but really just Instagram, to be quite honest.
Holly?
Radio Holly, all the places that you usually find people.
Mine is at Miguel Fuller, Instagram, TikTok, Peloton. We will see you all on Wednesday. Bye.